Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Stray Pixels podcast, where I have a huge announcement, guys, just a massive announcement. So this episode of the Stray Pixels podcast, we are officially going open world. Now, you may have some questions about what that means. You may wonder, how can a podcast go open world? How does your format translate into an open world project? Like, is this going to be something where I can just go anywhere and do anything in the world of this podcast? And the answer is, we don't know. We'll figure it out later. But for now, we just want to make sure you guys know, open world. Sizzle. I am Noisy Pixel staff writer Colin Buchanan, your host as usual, and I am joined by my fellow staff writer Nathan Mejia and our staff writer and graphics editor Ryuji.
Hello, everyone.
How are you guys doing this week?
Yeah, well, I'm playing the Somnium Nirvana Initiative.
As all the cool kids are.
Yeah.
As all the cool kids are.
Fire Emblem who?
And I really can't say much about the game because spoiler alert.
Spoilers.
I got it.
Of
See,
course.
I showed some love to Fire Emblem.
Who?
Hey man.
Ironic considering they came out the same day.
Yeah, and I did not pick up the initiative files, the Somnium files.
Unbelievable.
And I probably won't anytime soon, so I'm not getting that collector's edition, but who cares? It's like $250 now.
It's just an IBA PVC figure. No, who cares?
Yeah, why would I want that when I have this?
Tokimeki Memorial.
Yes. This is how my thing. I decided to splurge a little bit and get the special edition of the first game on PlayStation, which comes with a mouse pad
for the authentic action button experience.
Hello and welcome back to video games. It comes with the mouse and everything, and I have it proudly displayed on my thing. The box is a little beat up, and it's funny. And for saying, when I open it up, oh, it doesn't play anymore. The battery died. Wait.
QQ.
Can you hear that?
I mean,
L plus SAT plus
editing, it might
ratio.
be play sounds.
Yes. The battery was dying already. And when I opened up the box the first time, I was like, why am I hearing this wailing, trilling sound? It's the box trying to play, I think, the theme song or something.
Yeah,
But
so you guys know, leave a comment under this video. You know what you send comments for the battery on Nate's Tokimeki Memorial Special Edition.
Yeah. Next week when I get paid again, because I'll actually have enough money, I'm probably going to get the second game special edition. And they come with 3 magazines each.
Look at you.
With each magazine having a stupid PlayStation disc that lets the characters say your name, quote unquote.
Your name, quote, quote.
Well, yeah, because they're not going to go Nathan. They're going to go like whatever I decide to name myself in Japanese. It's usually Akira, because that's the most generic Japanese name I can give.
Come on, like you could at least pronounce it the way that they're going to pronounce it.
I could pronounce Akira rather than Akira, like how we do here in America.
Yes, we are Colin. Anyways, what are we talking today?
We are here, if you couldn't tell by the intro, to finally deliver on our promise to talk about Sonic. So Sonic Frontiers obviously has been getting IGN first trailers this month. This month that will be over by the time this episode goes up. No, not quite. We got another week. So basically, we knew that Sonic Frontiers was going to be an open world game. They announced this. Everyone went, what? Why? And some people went, ooh, hype, because those people have drank the Flavorade. And are just here for whatever the heck happens, despite the fact that you'd think that eventually, like, they would learn not to be hype about this game until it actually comes out.
Yeah.
Especially since we are recording this the weekend after Sonic Origins came out, and its devs are currently trashing the hell out of it, because you'd think that this would be a slam dunk, but no, apparently they were given an absurdly short turnaround time for this project.
Yeah. And apparently it's an unfinished product by their standards. So.
Yep. Also, Yuji Naka confirmed that Michael Jackson did in fact work on the music for Sonic 3, which had been like literally an urban legend for decades, and he just kind of casually tweeted it.
Oh yeah.
So I hey, that's one Yuji Naka related mystery definitively solved.
Which is ironic, because if you like go back a few weeks, you have the whole Balan Wonderworld drama with him.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep, we talked about it.
Anyway, here's Wonderwall.
So, Sonic Frontiers. Nate, what was your first reaction to seeing that first trailer? But like, but
like,
also,
because in some ways it kind of looked like those Mario slash Zelda would look at Unreal Engine 4 Flash 5 type stuff, where Sonic is kind of weirdly detached from his environment, because he's very bright and the environment is very realistic.
The environment is hyper realistic. It's like, imagine if you put like Twilight Princess Link into Breath of the Wild, or vice versa. Like it just doesn't look right.
Yeah.
And yeah, it genuinely looked like, a fan-made demonstration. And that feeling didn't really go away as more trailers dropped.
No, and especially when you looked at the combat and he was kind of zooming, like this is like very basic Sonic combat, homing attacks with little kicks added, but everything kind of just felt like it just happened, rather than like nothing felt like it was being done to anything. You know what I mean? Like the sound design wasn't fully there, and the motion lacked motion.
It's kind of amusing to me that this same month we had the Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers movie come out, featuring an extensive cameo by Ugly Sonic, the original Sonic the movie design.
I
and I'm just like, I still kind of
design.
prefer this over this entire presentation, because at least one of them knows it's a joke. Yeah. And the other one is being presented to us with a totally straight face, like, hey, this is our big impressive gameplay reveal. Ryuji, how about you?
Well, for me, I felt it was like, it looks good, but it feels to me when, how should I phrase it? Back when Breath of the Wild was first shown, where like it looked very rough, like I'm like, that doesn't look like the Zelda that I'm used to. To me, it felt like they took the Sonic model from like a typical Sonic 3D game and just and like Nate, just shove it into a Unreal Engine 4 or 5 environment. It also looked very out of place.
Yeah.
But I also thought it was too early to make. I think it's too early to make any assumptions, because like Zelda Breath of the Wild, it's still in development, so anything can change.
Well, sure.
But how much longer until it's supposed to be out? Is it early next year?
No, it's this year.
Oh, it's this year?
This year? Well, okay, I did not know that. I thought it was.
I'm gonna fact check myself, but I am 99% sure it's this year.
Yeah. Wikipedia, the one that is never wrong,
still says 2022.
Yeah, late 2022.
Honestly,
this isn't.
Sonic,
it's like
Sonic is that 95% of the info we got was from IGN.
Yeah.
They only showed 1 millisecond of it.
And like the official website has like really nice looking screenshots of the world.
Yeah.
But like, you made something pretty that that cool. I'm happy for you, but it does, like, none of these screenshots look like a Sonic game. Frankly, they look like Horizon Zero Dawn.
Actually, to me, they look like I don't know if you guys saw screenshots of it, but it reminds me of Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis.
Oh, I could see that.
No, I could see that too.
And it's interesting because it's also a Sega game, so I would not be surprised if those are just reskinned NGS backgrounds.
Well, like, the other thing is that none of these backgrounds include like elements, right? They're all just like pretty landscapes.
Yeah.
Whereas to like, here's the big thing here is to make Sonic function properly, like play well, feel good. There's going to be grind rails and rings and straight lines all over the place because that is the only way that these games have ever reliably been able to function in the long term. You know, you think of like past experiments in more open level design and it almost never like works out very well. Like who likes the Knuckles and Rouge levels in Sonic Adventure 2? Not a lot of people. When you talk about a lot of these older games that have any of these elements in them, what they're talking about is still the Sonic and Shadow parts, where it is just a straight line that you're going to, maybe with a couple of extra paths as opposed to exploration.
I've seen people compare the rails just to the ill-fated Sonic Forces a lot.
I mean, I tried Sonic Forces. It wasn't for me. I don't like the Avatar gameplay. I really felt like, you know, it didn't feel like a Sonic game at that point after how much you're forced to use the Avatar who has a gun. And it's like, oh, we're doing the gun again.
I mean, to be fair, the gun never left. The gun was always in our hearts. Shadow's right there. Just need the AK-47 instead of the chili dogs.
Shadow the Hedgehog is inside me.
All wrong.
Happy Pride. I like the thing that I keep coming back to is Sonic games over the last, 2 decades have a reputation for being buggy and held together with paper clips. And you're taking those games were already made like in a completely linear and developer focused like gameplay direction where you are going down either one path or a branching path that is like explicitly created content. You're taking that amount of reliability and you're applying it to a genre of game that is also notoriously buggy and difficult to QA test for. I don't see how this works out. I really don't. Unless Sega like quadrupled the budget on this game over Sonic Forces, I don't see how this works out.
Yeah, it's really hard to say.
Because like studios that have been doing this for a long time are just now starting to make like properly stable experiences.
Yeah. I mean, Bethesda still can't even do it. But to be fair, Bethesda games are like ridiculously huge.
And like we don't quite know how huge this is going to be. And I don't want to doomsay here. Like, if this game turns out to be good, I will happily eat my words here. I want there to be like an unadulteratedly good Sonic game.
Yeah.
I want to be able to recommend this with no asterisk or anything like that. I just don't know how they're going to pull that off. Because like we're getting, vague story details like, oh, this character is included and this character is included. And it's like, okay. But the thing about that is that the gameplay has to work first.
Yeah.
Like, does anybody know the plot of Sonic 2006? No, because they couldn't get to it because the game was too broken.
I know a little bit of it, but granted, it's because of material outside of Sonic.
Yeah, 06. All anybody knows is that it's the one where Sonic and a human do bestiality.
Just a little, just the tip of bestiality. You know what I mean?
Just the tip of the Sonic iceberg, you know.
No, I joke, but like you know, it's obviously it's very widely mocked for cartoon character kissing photorealistic human. It just looks goofy, and now we have photorealistic environments with cartoon characters in them. And then what got me after all of this on Twitter was developers being like, "Hey, you know, we'd really like to make Sonic Adventure 3."
Okay, cool. Make Sonic Adventure 3 then.
Yeah, well,
have none of the games in like the 2 decades since the last one been effectively Sonic Adventure 3? Like I don't get how Sonic Adventure 3 and Sonic 06 are different, you know?
I think it's the feeling more of, because Sonic 06 tried for that real gritty storyline.
Don't even, because I remember Sonic Adventure 2's entire storyline. You're not going to tell me that the final story in Sonic 2 isn't dark as fuck.
I mean, to each their own.
To each their own.
It's on the eye of the beholder, I guess.
It's a story about an omnicidal maniac who decided that if he couldn't make his life work, he was going to crash a fucking space station into the planet and create a mass extinction event.
I mean, if you can't.
And his edgy test tube hedgehog.
Hey.
Let's keep it at that, I guess.
So like I don't know how that's functionally different from, you know, several of the games that have come in the time since. B, this sounds suspiciously to me like that well-worn industry trope of, hey, you know that thing that you've been begging us to make for like over a decade? We'd love to do that. But first you have to buy this shitty thing that we're putting out now.
Yeah.
I hate
like it. I'm in the Digimon fandom. I remember this happening to us.
Yeah.
They made us buy Digimon Arena, like Digimon, what was it, Rumble Arena on the PlayStation 3, and that game was fucking terrible. It was just a really shitty Smash Brothers clone.
Which is funny because I remember the other one for like GameCube PS2 being actually good.
And like that one, the games that we wanted were already done. They were already made. We just wanted them to be localized.
Yeah. I mean, at least we got Cyber Sleuth eventually.
We did, but like, I'm really tired of this. Hey, if you guys want this franchise to continue, you have to buy this subpar product that we're about to shove out the door. Because it also, you know, we still haven't had a Chibi Robo game since fucking Ziplash because no one wanted it, famously. Well, I'm not going to go into Scott the Woz here because we already do enough quoting of Matt McMuscles on this podcast. And
yeah, that's
another one.
That's a whole can of worms for another time.
We'll just say that that game blows.
I really hate how cynical I've gotten about this franchise. I just, you know, we just got Sonic Origins, and before that we got Sonic Colors Ultimate, and neither of these were finished products. And neither of them needed to come out on at a certain deadline. They were both shoved out the door clearly before they were ready. And yes, some people have played through Sonic Origins with no trouble. I'm happy for them. But even the developers are already speaking out about how much they don't like the state that the game launched in.
Yeah. And that they're famously petitioning Sonic to even allow them to come back with the patch, which means to me that Sega didn't plan for any patch process. It was just going to be out the door.
I don't understand how this publisher like manages this team, but also Ryuga Gotoku Studio and Atlas. I don't understand how there can be such an insane
a lot of it, from what I hear, is that there's a lot of infighting with Sega.
That doesn't surprise me.
Ryuga Gotoku Studios and Atlas are pretty much self-managing themselves.
Like I know that was the agreement that Atlas would self-manage when they were purchased. That was why they agreed to be bought out by Sega, was because Sega was basically just going to give them carte blanche to do whatever they wanted to keep doing.
Yeah, the only indicate was more Persona. Get me more Persona.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then we got Persona 5 dancing in Moonlight or Starlight, excuse
In
me.
Starlight, Moonlight was 3.
Yes.
And then if you were a simp like I was, you bought the double pack.
I did buy the double pack for $100. It's on sale on PSN right now for $17.
Yep. Fun, right?
Fun.
And no, I did not buy a product that accumulated in value because they were eventually clearancing that physical for about $25.
Yep.
I don't regret, like I said over and over again, when they were still waffling about whether they were even going to bring those games over, like if they just threw them together, I'd buy them for full price, whatever. And I did.
I did too.
But anyway,
No.
we're getting off topic because we're tired of being so cynical about this specific thing.
Well, Sonic.
Okay.
Sonic exists. That's a good thing, right?
We clearly need to move on because we're already running out of steam. Nate, what's one thing that you like about a recent Sonic game?
Fist bump. I really like fist bump.
Okay, that's something.
Ryuji, do you like anything about a recent Sonic game? I know this isn't your bag.
Yeah, this isn't my bag, but honestly, let me be real.
Fist
I
bump
am
was pretty good.
probably one of the 10 people in this earth who actually liked Sonic the Dark Brotherhood on the DS. Probably one of the only people in this planet. So I'm like, it's cool that Sonic is trying out new things like an open world. If they got the fiasco that was the Dark Brotherhood and also Forces and also the storybook series, I mean, fourth time is the charm, I guess. I don't know if there were any more Sonic fiascos aside from Forces, the storybook series, and Dark Brotherhood.
Sonic 4.
Oh, okay, so I guess it's fifth time's the charm.
The animation for Sonic Mania was adorable. I want them to do that again.
That was, yes.
That was wonderful.
That was great.
Sonic Boom, the cartoon, is good.
Sure. See, we were positive. We said something nice.
Yeah.
Try to be positive.
I hope Sonic Frontiers turns out better than it looks now, because the world looks clunky, the combat looks bad.
Yeah. It ironically needs more color for the world, ironically.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand how this was the direction that they thought to take this, when I think that all we want is like a Sonic game that's like the ones that we've already gotten, but functional, you know? If we can just have one that works, I think that a lot of people will be happy.
All we're asking is functional. Please, just don't bug it out. Which seems to be a running gag with Sega, unfortunately.
Anyway, in the second half of this week's episode, we are going to do sort of a lightning round of a bunch of smaller stories that came out over the last week, just to sort of wrap up our coverage for the month before we move on to July. So we will be right back and see you guys after the break. You guys don't even want to hear the thing that he said immediately before he started the recording. Scandal. Like, if it got out, it would bring down all of Noisy Pixel.
Oh, come on. It wasn't that bad.
Welcome back. The second half of this episode is going to be something of a lightning round, and we are going to start with an update to a story that we covered a couple of weeks ago. I am going to read two statements to start with. One of them is from Seven Seas Publishing. And it reads, at the end of May, Seven Seas was notified that a union had filed an election petition to represent our employees. At the time, the company decided to proceed to an election governed by the National Relations Labor Board. In order to allow such an important decision to get its full democratic process, the company is responsible, I'm tripping over my words, for protecting the rights of all employees and was uncomfortable waiving such a fundamental right to vote. However, this has been a challenging time for staff at every level. Above all, the well-being and safety of our employees is of utmost importance to us in order to protect everyone involved and to work together in good faith for the sake of our staff, creators, partners, and fans. Seven Seas has now decided to waive the right to an election in favor of voluntary recognition of the union. We look forward to working together with the newly unionized UW7S, that's United Workers of Seven Seas, and the rest of our global staff as we sail towards an even brighter future. And UW7S also posted a statement on Twitter. UW7S is happy to announce that Seven Seas has agreed to voluntarily recognize us as the union based on a majority card check. This decision by Seven Seas eliminates the need for an NLRB conducted election and will pave the way for a more expedited path to bargaining a first contract. At a time when many employers continue to fight the unionization of their employees, we appreciate that Seven Seas decided to respect the voices of the majority of staff and recognize us. We look forward to developing a mutually beneficial relationship and reaching a collective bargaining agreement in the near future. So, I have mixed feelings. I'm really happy that, you know, they did finally cave and agree to recognize the union, which was an inevitability, frankly. Nowhere here did they apologize for hiring a union busting firm. So that's not something that I'm going to forget about, and I'm sure it's not something that several of the people in the union are going to forget about. But anybody that was holding off on purchasing, you know, Seven Seas books, you don't have to anymore. They did voluntarily recognize the union and drop any additional legal pressure against them.
Yeah.
So that's very good news, obviously. I just wish that they would have apologized for at least the optics of hiring one of the country's most famous union busting law firms. So good news there. Thank you, Seven Seas. We're very happy that everything shook out the way that it should have in this situation.
Yeah.
So our next topic is one that we didn't really cover before, and it's actually, I think this one's more recent than several of the other ones, but we got confirmation that upon its launch in October, which by the way, it's coming out in October, Overwatch 2's free-to-play multiplayer modes will completely replace Overwatch 1. So effectively, if you guys didn't know, Overwatch 2's multiplayer component is going to be free to play. And the story campaign is what's going to be an additional charge, I think, to be determined still. I've been hearing $40 being bandied about. That sounds about right.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah.
So what this basically means is on the game's launch day, any existing copies of Overwatch will just roll into Overwatch 2. You know, obviously this flies in the face of them saying, oh, we're going to continue to support both games. But I mean, I guess it's the best possible outcome of that being a lie is just everyone who already owned the original game will have access to the new one. There are people that are upset about this because Overwatch 2 is different. In that it is a 5v5 game instead of a 6v6 game. But I don't know how they were going to manage to support and balance both of them if they were going to have literally different numbers of players.
Yeah.
So maybe this is for the best, but obviously Blizzard is not exactly in a lot of favor right now.
Nope.
For reasons that we've already discussed.
So who gives a shit about Overwatch? Am I right?
All I know is that our host here is gonna get a new coaster.
I do. So for those of you who don't know, do I have one handy? I do. Those of you in our audience that don't know, this is a detail about me specifically. I tend to just buy up extra copies of games that are free to play because they tend to go on fire sale because the discs are effectively worthless. I own about 12 PS4 copies of Destiny 2 because I got them for $1.50 each. And now I use them as coasters because they're completely useless. You can't even play any of the content that's on this disc anymore. So, because they vaulted all of it.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Does this mean that it's a bad game? No, it just means that this disc is pointless. There's no reason for it to exist. Coasters, conversation pieces.
They are. Funny enough, they're also Activision games, technically back then.
back
True.
then.
This would have a different label on it now, although they haven't printed a Destiny 2 physical since the Forsaken expansion.
Yeah, which was the last one Activision published before Bungie said, you know what, screw this.
Not true.
Not true?
I believe that their next one after that was still under Activision, and that was when they bought themselves out from underneath. And now, obviously, you know, that didn't last long. But
yeah,
I like, speaking of someone that played a lot of Overwatch, it's nice that all of the existing stuff that I already had is getting rolled in. Because frankly, I already have all of the character skins that I could possibly want, mostly because I have the best one in the entire game, which is Zenyatta's Halloween cultist skin that turns him into Cthulhu. A plus 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 right there. I'm really mad that the Funko Pop figure of that was a Blizzard store exclusive, or else it would be on the shelf behind me, but I wasn't about to do that. And pay probably $15 thing on a $9 pop figure. I don't know about I don't know how people are going to feel about this at large though, because I think that on some level this was an expected move. Because I don't think that any of us genuinely believed that they were going to support both games, because why, right? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. It never made any sense.
You gotta support the new game and just throw the old one.
The real question is this going to work? Because obviously Overwatch has been on something of a content freeze for years now. We were getting pretty used to a consistent drip feed. Every couple months there would be a new hero or a new map to play on, and that has just, the faucet has run dry because they have been putting all these resources apparently into Overwatch 2. Based on the screenshots that we're seeing, I'm not really sure where all of that time and effort went, because it just looks like they changed the lighting. But
yeah,
I hope it'll be fun. I for the people that can still tolerate Blizzard enough to play it. I mean, I'll probably at least try it out. If only because I won't have to pay anything for it, and God knows I never bought loot boxes before, so I'm not buying their stupid battle pass now. But I mean, it's kind of this is kind of also topical because as we speak, the console network test for Gundam Evolution is happening, a game that Nate and I played together and can tell you that it's basically Overwatch.
Yeah, but better because you can play as Char Aznable. So.
Yeah, even when I saw the footage from the preview, I was like, this is just Overwatch, but with Gundams.
It's just Overwatch.
Yeah.
It's just Overwatch, except we don't know that it was made under conditions of abuse. Is it possible? Yes, but we don't know that for a fact the way that we know that about Overwatch.
Yeah, that's not confirmed.
It is a Bandai game, so
we don't hear as much out of Japan still, which should change. To be clear, I would much rather hear about abuse if it's happening overseas than not know about it and continue to support people that perpetrate it. Yeah. But we don't know yet. But yeah, it looks like all those disc copies of Overwatch are probably about to get fire sold, whatever's left of them. I actually don't know if GameStop still has copies of Destiny 2. I wonder. Let's find out.
They've gotta, bro. I'm pretty sure.
If anything, you might be able to find them at, what is it? What are some wholesale
category video games? Price $0 to $10. $0 to $10. It's not on there anymore. Did they finally? Oh, that's funny. The one that does come up is Destiny Connect TikTok Travelers for, apparently it's $10 now. I might finally go pick that up. Anyway, moving right along, unless anybody has anything else to say about Overwatch.
Nah.
Yeah.
I think among me and Nate, you're the only one who probably played a lot of Overwatch.
No, I played a lot of Overwatch.
You also did?
Yeah, I played religiously for about 6-7 months.
Okay,
I think that
take
you
back my
tend to
statement
forget
then.
that Nate is like kind of a gamer bro.
Yeah, I'm a Swiss Army knife of games because I play JRPGs, first person shooters, action adventure, point and click, dating sims.
What's a non-binary bro? A throw?
Uh, oh my god.
I don't know. I'm just
Gonna
spitballing. Let us know in the comments if you like throw for a they them bro.
Anyways, let's move on
Let's
because
move on
Let's throw
No
that
Man's
out
to
there.
a thing that I
Sky.
don't think any of us really thought was actually going to happen. The No Man's Sky Switch port is in fact coming in October
and
7th.
emphasis on that. It's a Switch port. It's not a cloud version.
Yep, it is a native. It is a
Which
native Switch port that I'm sure will look crunchy as fuck, but very colorful on that OLED screen.
It will look very nice. I'm just hoping that they'll retain cross connection.
Yeah, me too.
So about that, it will be single player. It will feature no multiplayer elements of any kind.
Oh my god.
Fine.
Well, I mean, compromises have to be made in one way or another.
So, very famously, when it came out, No Man's Sky was single player, and everybody was pissed because Sean Murray had never denied that there was multiplayer when asked. So this is maybe one of the more concrete examples of how Switch ports are just inherently worse than every other version of the game. It's cool that they're going to get it running. I don't know to what degree it's going to take off because so many of the enhancements that have been made are very heavily focused on multiplayer collaboration.
Yeah.
Because that's what everybody wanted out of this game to begin with. So I don't, it sounds very lonely, frankly.
And also considering even a PC that has decent specs can struggle with No Man's Sky, I wonder just how much optimization they're gonna do to make it run on the Switch, because yeah, the Switch needs a lot of optimization, or else you end up with another Room Factory 5 incident.
I mean, we don't have a review of No Man's Sky on Noisy Pixel, so hey, maybe somebody's gonna get to actually review the thing.
If anybody will end up being me, because I take the games nobody else wants.
I mean, you're the person that would be able to best judge, because you have the OLED, how good it's going to actually look. But I don't know, like the PS5 version of it looks real nice, but this is one of those games where I'm just like, the art style's kind of like vague enough to where it might work. But also this game has gotten a lot more graphically detailed in the time since it came out.
Yeah.
And it is also, I think, going to be full price.
Yeah, no, that makes sense to make it $59.99, which is full price Switch.
Yeah,
and will probably hardly go on sale because Nintendo sales are very far in between. Are very few in between.
So third-party software goes on sale all the time.
Yeah.
Like even third-party like Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle goes on sale for $15 pretty frequently.
Yeah.
So that remains to be seen. Like, I mean, there's other ports, like the Outer Worlds port is down to $20, which you shouldn't buy because it's significantly worse on Switch than it is on all other platforms. But like $60 for a 7-year-old game.
To be fair,
I mean, I don't know how many copies this is going to sell, frankly, because I don't I don't know how much this I don't know how much the Venn diagram of the Switch's core audience and No Man's Sky goes together, because like Fortnite and Minecraft are already on the platform. And you have games like Ark Survival Evolved that just completely flopped on the Switch because they were extremely inferior versions of games for other platforms.
I mean, to be fair, Ark Survival Evolved is already an inferior game, but whatever.
Damn, he got feelings.
I don't like Ark. That's all.
But that was one of those famously terrible Switch ports. I hope that this works out. I hope that it does well. I like Hello Games. I want them to like continue to reap the benefit of the No Man's Sky renaissance that's been happening for. I think they've been keeping it strong for like a good 5 years now, which is impressive.
Yeah.
But you know,
Mm-hmm.
you know which one I'm gonna mention next is the long promised, never shown Genshin Impact port that is purported to be still happening.
It's coming. Just you wait, man. Just you wait. I'll be able to be pulling more characters on my Switch.
Yeah, well, I'm sure the wishing animation will look fabulous on that screen.
On that teeny tiny screen.
What do you mean teeny tiny screen? Look at
teeny
this.
Tiny 720p screen.
Look at this.
It's 7 inches.
7
it's big
inches.
Enough.
That's what she said.
On the original though, like that's gonna look like poop.
Maybe, I don't know. The original screen.
I can't tolerate the original Switch's screen. I can't. I really can't.
I mean, yeah, I also can't tolerate it after upgrading to the OLED, but that's a topic for another time. So how about it's been what, 2-3 weeks since
been 2 weeks.
2-3 weeks since the new PS Plus. Did any of you guys like sign up for it?
Yeah,
I did. Yes, both of us. And this is, you know, we're throwing it back again to the thing we talked about in our very first episode. I don't think this is quite going to be our final discussion of it. I think that, you know, probably let's say a year after it, we're going to be like, hey, how well did this work out in the end?
Yeah, a year after.
In terms of what hit the service immediately, I don't know. I'm pretty satisfied. Like,
yeah, it's fine.
If only because of the inclusion of Returnal and Demon Souls and Spider-Man Miles Morales. Like, it is nice that to not have to wait for these to go on PS Plus or get a huge sale anymore. My boyfriend is playing Returnal literally right now as we speak, and he's obsessed with it. The PS1 games, I was hoping that there would be more of them.
Yeah.
And I believe that there is like maybe 2 PSP games on the US store right now. I think they added Super Stardust Ultra recently and said nothing about it.
I didn't even notice that was out. Dang.
Yep. They didn't announce it or anything. It just kind of dropped onto the PlayStation store.
Yeah. So my opinion of the service kind of comes because I have I have multiple PSNs for various different regions because I'm the type of guy that just hunts for sales in different regions because of the currency conversion. So I have taken a look at the catalogs of the new PS Plus as they rolled out. Like when it came out in Asia, I looked at the catalog. When it came out in Japan, I had a look. And I also made a little list, which I have open here right now. And overall, my opinion is the new premium tier, which is like the most expensive tier, which I believe is like what, $15.99 a month. And that's the thing. I think that tier is not worth it early on. And we got shafted in the US catalog. I'm gonna say that. The Japanese catalog is way better. It's way richer if you know Japanese. You have access to the entire Trails library, Yokai Watch, and like you have a lot of games there, like including games that never came to the US. So I would say that if you know Japanese, you won't regret grabbing at least a month or 3 of the extra catalog on Japan. The US though, yeah, I'm sad to say we really got the short end of the stick here.
I mean, my complaint so far is mostly just I feel like a lot was made of the classic collection that it's just not there, and I don't know why it's not there yet. Frankly, like unless they're really set on adding trophies to a lot more games, which I guess I'm in support of, but with all of this, like I think a lot of us thought that more of the games that already existed on PSN before this would be here, and they're not. It's a very limited selection. I did come close to platinuming Ape Escape on day one. I had a blast with it. It was mostly just I couldn't get through the final level in one night because it's long. And then the next day, I thought that I was going to get home from work before my boyfriend, and I didn't because he got fired. So
I forgot about that.
Booted up a different game and sent me all the way back to the first Futurama level. So that's like 2 hours down the drain. I'll go back and redo it because I'm that close to the plat, but that was disheartening. Wild Arms is still great. I love this game. Siphon Filter is
Wild
cool.
Arms is the only game that caught my interest in the Classes catalog
because it's a JRPG.
And in that case, like I heard you can buy it separately for what, $8? I forgot the price right now, but yeah, some of the games in the Classes catalog, thankfully, you can buy them like separately. And if you own them, be it on PS3 or PS4, like whatever other methods you had on them, you can like re-download them at no extra cost, which actually was a really good thing for people who don't want to subscribe, I think.
It's mostly just like, where's a lot of the really obviously missing games? Like you have Wild Arms 1 and 3, where's 2, 4, and 5? Games that have been like especially 4 and 5, which have been like MIA from any re-releases since their original printing. Where's Siphon Filter 2? Where's a lot of PSP games that could be here? Like the most notable PSP games on the service are PS4 ports of PSP games, because you have Patapon 1 and 2 remastered and Loco Roco 1 and 2 remastered. There's so much that's missing, and I'll give you that one of the big missing games, we don't need it on the service anymore because it's getting a remake later this winter, but that it's like there's a weird giant hole in this catalog that isn't quite what we were promised, and the number of games is accurate. So I guess they fulfilled the promise of like the total number of playable games. It's just like, for the extra for premium, I don't know that it's worth it, especially not monthly. And it's all going to depend on what we see in the middle of next month, because we know one game that is coming in July, and that is Stray. We don't have any information on anything else that is coming to the service next month. And the worst thing that they could do is have it basically just be PS Now, where they just get 2 or 3 new games a month, and 2 of them are leaving after 3 months. Like, no, this has to be continuing to add value on itself. Because I don't know what,
for better or worse, and because I know it's like, this is basically their answer to compete against Game Pass. I think that's what was talked when it was teased back then.
No, they said over and like, and we said over and over again, this is not a Game Pass competitor.
But if you look at it from that perspective, it definitely isn't.
I mean, they set expectations though, and that's something that Sony has largely been pretty good at doing. Like, I'm disappointed by the stuff that's not here, but what is here is basically what was promised, and we already know what to expect in the future, at least when it comes to larger titles. They're not going to be here day and date, and we knew that. We knew that from the beginning. Jim Ryan has said over and over and over again that that's not something that they're interested in doing, because it doesn't make money. We've gone on and on and on about how Game Pass is a bubble, and Microsoft is burning money keeping it afloat and hoping that, you know, it'll be profitable in 10 years. And Sony doesn't want to do that. Sony wants to make the money now.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them, because this is where their money comes from. So they can't take a loss on PlayStation, because then the whole company is going to be taking a loss.
Yeah.
But it's mostly just a case of like, how do we have Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy on here, but not Ratchet and Clank? You know?
Yeah.
Like the optics of that are strange.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of games missing. I know some of them are kind of hard, but man, how great would it be if they had worked out any type of deal to get Silent Hill 1, 2, and 3, and 4, The Room, the PS2 versions on the system.
That, I mean, that's going to require some talking to Konami. I also don't know if they even are able to get ports of 2 and 3, because the code for them is Swiss cheese. So like what we might still have, you know what, because you know what is on there is the HD collection.
I mean, if they fix them.
I think that we could theoretically get Metal Gear Solid, because we already know that all of those games are intact because they've already been released for the platform in the past. But Silent Hill, I mean, the first game should be there because that was already on PSN. Hell, they could even add trophies to it. But for now, as a person that paid ahead, I'm okay, but give me like 2 months to really have like a fully formed opinion on what I think of this entire thing, because they have to now support it better than they did PS Now, because there was a reason no one cared about PS Now.
And that's not counting the fact that PS Now was not available in all countries, and that is the thing even now, yada yada yada. Because us in Brazil, we never got it. We never got PS Now.
One upshot that I have noticed for sure, and I don't know if this is specifically related to the relaunch or if this is just my own personal experience, I've noticed the streaming has gotten better. I've been playing all sorts of PS3 games. A lot of them got removed, unfortunately, so that sucks. But I have been seeing a much more consistent experience now than I ever used to before. I'm about 2/3 of the way through Lego Batman 2, and I'm having a blast. So would I prefer a native port? Yes, but
I wonder if they moved from actual PS3 streaming to a workstation or a dev kit streaming.
I don't know. They haven't announced, so I don't know if they just worked out how to increase the reliability of the connection, or again, if it might just be me.
It could also just be that you have a good connection to their servers.
There's a lot of factors with that.
Anyway, we're gonna move on to the barrage of news that we have gotten recently about Final Fantasy 16, and we're going to start with the most important part of it, which is that there's a doggo.
Oh, cool!
There's a doggo.
But can we pet it?
Oh my god! I thought you
might be in the party.
I thought you were meant to the scenes. The scenes that set the internet on fire.
We don't care about sex on this podcast.
His name is Torgal. And Yoshida says that let's just say he's more wolf than dog. As for him being a party member, you'll just have to wait and see. There's a dog. There's more to talk about. I'm just like, I know what I'm here for. There's a dog.
Okay, I guess. So, with this, we got a lot of interviews from Japanese and even English sources from Yoshi P talking about a lot of the game. And sorry in advance, but I'm already gonna enter my rant mode because there was something that kind of angered me during that barrage of interviews.
Okay, Ryuji, 30 seconds. Can you sum up everything that went wrong here?
So in a specific interview by Dengeki Online, there was like the statement that the story of Final Fantasy 16 would take place on Clive's early teens, his 20s, and his 30s. I assume you guys both know about that, right?
Yes.
So what happened is that a person who I will not name, they were someone with a lot of followers, instead of asking translators or like consulting everything, they decided to take the entire the Dengeki thing, shove it into DeepL, which is a machine translator, and then just post whatever spaghetti came out of it as the truth. And what happened is that the AI actually distorted one of Yoshi P's phrases, saying that the Final Fantasy 16 story would take place from Clive's born, like from the time he was born to his death. So many people were starting to assume that he would die when the many Japanese people, many Japanese natives, and even I was like, guys, this is not correct. DeepL completely like distorted the fact, and the tweet with that distorted information just blew up, and I was really mad. Like, I just can't stand people that use machine translation.
I get it.
Yeah.
To kind of blitz through as much of this as we can before we run out of time. Final Fantasy 16 will not be open world. It will instead be larger open-ish levels that will just be connected. So basically this sounds like Final Fantasy 7 or Final Fantasy 7 Remake, excuse me, which hopefully means hashtag no fishing mini games.
Oh my god!
Hashtag no fishing minigames.
Hashtag I want 3 different fishing minigames now.
No fishing minigames. No more fishing minigames.
One that's random, one that's skill based, and one that's a gacha.
Patch your fishing minigames out of your existing released products.
One that's a gacha, really? Okay, that one that did not expect.
I'm fine with this because it just like the world of Eos in Final Fantasy 15, it really felt like we were seeing like a county. Like there was, but it felt like an extremely limited slice of the complete like picture of the setting. So I'm happy that we're moving past that, even if I did like what I like, you know, the open world of 15 having 100% in the whole game. I'm happy to see that we're going back to being more focused. I'm glad that we got over the fear of doing that after Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah,
because linear is not a dirty word. But he also says that it won't be a Final Fantasy theme park. Very, very specifically subtweeting his other baby, Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, well, there were also a lot of interviews on the Japanese side that said that Yoshi P's team is more focused on action-based, more realistic type of stories. He doesn't like getting off the rails, like going too fantasy. Which, well, I even had asked Colin before, and he said that, yeah, well, you said you could see it, especially in the later like expansions, like the story.
Well, no, I could see it specifically for Stormblood. Because Stormblood is a fantasy war story. But I don't know, like you literally get isekai'd in Shadowbringers. So
yeah, you get isekai'd in Shadowbringers, and they're a weird thing with multidimensional travel.
And Endwalker goes so ridiculously conceptual that I don't know if realistic is a word that I would ever use to describe it. And that's a game that I gave a 10 out of 10 to. So I don't know, but if what he wants is to make it feel like a Final Fantasy that is also its own thing, I guess I'm in favor of that. Like, I don't need another hugely nostalgic, you know, especially if that NVIDIA leak continues to be true and we are indeed getting Final Fantasy IX Remake. That's all I need. That's all I need. Inject it into me and I'll be happy forever.
Yeah.
And there's also that guy who got his predictions right like 3 times, which was scary.
He's got another one out there for God of War. So we'll see. We'll get back to you. And we lastly got confirmation that there will be party members. They will be AI controlled. They just wanted to show Clive in the trailer so that you could like get a really good look at what combat was going to be like without the distraction of the AI controlled party members. We're pretty used to that at this point, given, you know, 7 Remake and 13 and 15 all had party controlled AI members, and 12 had party controlled AI members that you would like could give ridiculously specific instructions to.
And he also promised that like Final Fantasy 16 won't have any like side material. It will be a full experience. We'll see about that, because
we'll see about that.
Yeah,
15 was promised the same thing, and well, just look at it now. It's
well,
kinda...
I mean, 15 can function by itself. It just gets expanded upon.
Well,
like you don't have to have seen the movie or read the books or played the DLC or watched the anime. They just wanted to expand it further. But I get the inclination to pull it back. Normally, this is the part where I would ask for any additional thoughts, but we are very swiftly running low on time. So does anybody have 30 seconds worth of final thoughts on Final Fantasy 16?
Final Fantasy 16 is probably going to be good. Make my summons hotter, please.
Yes. Fuckable summons. Hashtag fuckable summons 2022, 2023. Give them to me. Happy Pride.
And as for me, as someone who never played 14, I'll be interested to see further information crop up about 16, especially about how it looks, because I'm one of those people that is particularly skeptical, because don't trash me in the comments, guys. It's because I never played 14, so I don't know, like I have not yet experienced how...
Yeah, and he spends the most time talking to Bailey, who hates 14 more than potentially any other game that's ever existed. So and on that note, I want to thank you guys at home for listening to another episode of the Stray Pixels podcast. We post every Tuesday on your podcast app of choice and on the Noisy Pixel YouTube channel. What are you guys excited about for Final Fantasy 16? What are you guys excited about for Sonic Frontiers? If you're still excited for it, let us know in the comments on YouTube. If there's anything you'd like us to talk about on a future episode, you can leave a comment under this video or talk to us on Twitter. You can find me, Colin, at the Arcane Ranger, Nate at less than Nathan, and Ryuji at Ryuji Blades. That's RYUJI Blades, BLADES, or the site itself at Noisy Pixel News. The Stray Pixels podcast is brought to you by NoisyPixel.net. Noisy Pixel is run by a group of gamers who work hard to bring you the latest news, reviews, previews, podcasts, and more. Please like, subscribe, and follow to keep up with our future content, and we will see you next week. Peace!
Jamais!